A swimmer enters the pool and dives in the shallows. She injures her spine and starts drowning. The lifeguard doesn't see immediately, so what can bystanders do to help? It's important to know how to help save someone's life, and learning to make any action with some guidelines, rather than none, could be life or death. I'm a lifeguard with emergency training in different situations, whether that's here at the UAF Patty Center pool, that's at a lake waterfront, or it's in search and rescue situations. So the purpose of this speech is to help inform swimmers on how to enable lifeguards and help people in pool emergencies. So swimmers need to know how to recognize, signal, and provide aid in emergencies, whether that's in the pool or the sauna next door, where heat exhaustion could be very likely. So starting with emergency recognition, there are two main injury types. Bystanders should know how to recognize that being internally and externally caused. So the Red Cross lifeguard certification training online for lifeguards has 40 hours of content. It is behind a paywall, but it is very good as far as the signs and symptoms, the lists of all those for different emergency injuries. So the internal injuries include heart attacks, respiratory distress, and strokes. And external injuries include falling, cuts, bruises, bone breaks, concussions, spinal injuries, etc. Drowning is the big one. And the symptoms for all of these boil down to consciousness and mobility changes. So consciousness includes things like how awake is the person? Are they lying down, standing up? Are they coherent and able to talk to someone else? And mobility changes would be things like nausea or vomiting, lightheadedness, ability to keep balance. Are they holding their arm or limping whatsoever? And mainly, ability to stay above the water. Are they able to tread water? Moving on to signaling the lifeguard and emergency medical services. Maintain a buddy system and be very loud and assertive to get the bystanders' attention. And if all else fails, call 911, press a big red button, whatever it takes. According to Mark Oldmixon, a lifeguard of over 20 years and the director of Nanook Recreation at UAF, break into groups called buddy systems, which are 2 or 3 people accountable for each other, because the lifeguards have to keep track of over 15 people at a time, and it can be very difficult to see if one person submerges and something happens. So after that, if an emergency is recognized, be as loud and obnoxious as possible when alarming, because everything is loud, everything is moving, and talking at a 65 decibel or normal talking range will not cut it. If all else fails, there is a big red button on this side of the wall, right next to the lifeguard stand, which has a cover. Open that cover up, press the button, whatever it takes, get 911 and emergency services in here. Moving on to aiding victims during emergencies. The lifeguard is likely the most trained person in the area, so enabling them in their tasks is critical. The Red Cross Lifeguard Manual, also used in training and certification, is very good for specific details and specific procedures on pages 145 to 160. This applies to lifeguards mainly. However, the lifeguard is focused on retrieving the victim in the water, getting them out, getting them breathing again while they're providing aid. And it is bystanders' job to grab things like the shepherd's crook on this side of the wall to hook people out if they are an active drowner, to press the button to call 911 and inform them what is happening. And in aiding the victim, things like a bleeding control kit may be needed, or an AED. In conclusion, bystanders have a large impact on emergencies, and they're useful in recognizing, signaling, and aiding in emergencies. It's important to build comfort in responding to emergencies because lifeguards can only do so much. They need any help they can get. There is a common fear in making mistakes or injuring the victim. However, any action is better than inaction. Buddy up, but please remember, the water is meant to be enjoyed,